Welcome back to ThinkTech. Here we are on Wednesday with Energy Wednesday. Hawaii, the state of clean energy, a really special state. And we go far and wide. We talk to guests and vectors all over the country, the world, and they all agree that Hawaii is the state of energy. Whether we like it or not, that's what's going on. That's what they think anyway. Good for them, yeah. Anyway, today's special guest, we have Peter Rosegg from Hawaiian Electric Company. He's going to talk to us in a minute about solar and let's see, and the grandfather clause.
The grandfather clause.
That's the lawyer's term. Okay, and we have Mark Glick, the Hawaii State Energy Administrator, and we have Veronica Roche.
Perfect.
Who is the,
I'm the Renewable Energy Branch Chief for the Hawaii State Energy Office, working under Mark.
Okay. And then we have John Cole, a former PUC commissioner, and now with HNEI, Hawaii Natural Energy Institute, which is actually becoming more important every day. How do you like that?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Okay, let's start with number one, and that's Peter Rosegg from Hawaiian Electric Company to talk about a press release that was issued recently, a few days ago, about a grandfather clause for solar.
Well, I think we should call it a sanity clause.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, back in September, we announced a change in the procedures for rooftop solar. We had been saying that, you know, if you were going to put a small system on your roof, you could go ahead without too much concern. But as more and more solar was coming on the system, we had to modify that. We did two things really. We opened up the window a little bit larger for solar generally. But we also said that if you were coming in on some circuits that were very heavily loaded with solar, it was going to be necessary to do a study and perhaps do some upgrades. And we knew that when we made that transition on September 6th, there were some people that were caught kind of in the lurch. There were people who had already signed an agreement to get a solar on their roof, and they were perhaps already paying for that. But they hadn't actually had the solar installed. And there were also people who had taken out loans and were also paying on that. Some people had done both, and yet their solar system was either not installed or not authorized. And those people were really in a bind, and we recognized that. So we worked very closely with the solar industry, and we reached an agreement about how we can help those people. And the details are on our website, hawaiianelectric.com, going solar. But basically, if you fall into that category, either you had an agreement signed before September 9th, or you had a loan before September 9th, you should send in the paperwork we asked for, and we're going to try to expedite those people. We're trying to move as many people as we can safely and reliably into the solar world, but we do have to be a little more careful as more and more people get solar on our systems.
Yeah, what's going to happen going forward on this? I mean, for the people who who don't have the benefit of the grandfather clause?
Well, people who are still ordering and dealing with solar vendors, they need to get their agreement application into us. We can then look at, and they can look themselves. You can look on the hawaiianelectric.com going solar, and there's an interactive map, and it'll tell you, you enter your address, and it'll tell you what the status as of that moment of your circuit is. Is it, how much solar is there? And if it's a relatively low percentage, then your agreement's going to go through really quickly. A couple of weeks or so, and then you can proceed. If you're in that group of people who are on one of these highly penetrated circuits, and that number is growing. About a quarter of our circuits now are highly penetrated. If you're on one of those, you need to understand that when you get your application in, there may be some delays. And if it's necessary to put in upgrades to allow your solar to be attached to the grid, you will be responsible for a pro rata share of that cost, since you're causing the cost. But we're still trying to encourage people to get on solar if they can work it out. We're pro solar. It's helping to reduce our use of imported oil. It's helping us reach our renewable energy goals. It's a good thing. But Hawaiian Electric has, by the end of this year, about 10% of our customers will have solar. And that's way, way more than any utility in the United States. Other, heavily loaded utilities are at 3%, and these are the ones that are at 3% are big utilities on the mainland, California, and they're interconnected, so they have a lot more energy resources to call on. We're these little tiny grids here, so we're kind of the canary in the coal mine in the sense that we're encountering these reliability and safety problems before anybody else in the nation, probably in the world. And we've got to do it right. We do have to slow it down a bit, but that doesn't mean we don't want to see as much solar as possible on the system.
What happens to the circuits that are problematic? I mean, I guess not all of them are, but some of them are.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people, a lot of people have gotten PV. Another factor might be that circuit is just not able to take all the people that want PV on it.
Right.
How do you ultimately resolve that?
Well, there are various ways to do that. Some of them are on the customer side. We're looking at some devices that the customer can add on his side of the meter, which will allow us to be comfortable with the safety and reliability factors. There are also things that can be done on our side of the meter, on the utility side of the meter. I can tell you we can install grounding transformers, as long as you don't ask me what a grounded transformer is or what it does. But there are devices, there is equipment, there's ways to upgrade the substation that circuit goes into. These are all technical issues, but the problem is that if there's a lot of solar, if that solar exceeds the amount of demand at a given moment, that power feeds back into the circuit and can reach the substation, and that's called an overvoltage situation, and it can cause danger to our crews, to our customers, to their equipment, to our equipment, and it can cause bad service. You can have flickers, you can have outages, and these affect everybody, not just the guy that's got the solar, but the guy next door doesn't have the solar. So in fairness and for safety, we've got to make sure we can do this reliably and do it safely. But there are ways, and we're finding more. We're studying it. We're going, as I said, we're kind of in the vanguard, and we're going to do our best to get as many people on solar as want to get on there that we can accommodate without giving up our responsibility, which is to be safe and to be reliable.
Yeah, it strikes me that people think about the smart grid as one great big brain, controlling everything. But the smart grid is a million little brains, or a million little devices, that each one collaborating with the other, connected with the other, that make the whole system work better, more smart.
Right, and you also have a big brain in the middle of that system. So you have all these meters and smart equipment out on the customer's side of the meter, or on the meter, and then we already have, but we will enhance our computers and our ability to receive information from them and to understand what that information can do. And just one example, I was just reading a utility on the mainland that is kind of in the lead on this. They are able to send trucks to an outage before the first call comes in saying their power is out, because the smart grid tells them, we've got a problem here. The smart grid says to them, to the computer and to the operator, we think it's probably this kind of a problem. You're probably going to need a pole, a transformer, or whatever, and they can dispatch trucks before the first call. The way it works in the old system is we have to get 1 call, 2 calls, 3 calls, and then we kind of figure out where the problem is. We send a guy out there, a primary trouble man. He looks at it, and then he calls back and says, here's the problem, and here's what I need to fix it. And so you can imagine the time that takes. If you can roll a truck before you get the first call, that outage is going to be a lot shorter. And that's one of the things we hope is in our smart grid future. And you've got the guy to tell you all the rest of the things the smart grid can do right here. So I'm going to leave you to the real experts, and I thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, Peter. Great to have you here. That's Peter Rosegg, Hawaiian Electric Company. Thank you so much, Peter.
Absolutely.
Aloha. Okay, now that Peter is making his bow, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a short break. This is Energy Wednesday, Hawaii, the state of clean energy. We have left in the studio Mark Glick, John Cole, Veronica Roche.
Either one.
Thank you. I
Thank
learned
you.
slowly. We'll be right back after this break. Aloha, I'm Jay Fidell. This is ThinkTech Hawaii, broadcasting live from the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu. We raise public awareness about tech, energy, and globalism in Hawaii. Technology is critical to our state. A vibrant tech sector will give us new prospects in the global marketplace and will offer great careers and make our economy more resilient. Streaming live on Ustream and Spreaker, ThinkTech allows its hosts and guests invaluable opportunities to report important events and discuss important questions, and to be heard here in Hawaii and around the world. You can find links to our live streams on thinktechhawaii.com or on our mobile website, m.thinktechhawaii.com. And you can see our archive on YouTube. It's all just a click away. We want to do whatever we can to keep Hawaii relevant, connected, and thriving in the complexity of the 21st century. We hope you will help us in those efforts. Tune in today. This is ThinkTech. I'm Jay Fidell. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Hori for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Hori. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidell of ThinkTech. ThinkTech is a 501c3 Hawaii nonprofit corporation. We began ThinkTech in the year 2000. At ThinkTech, we work to raise public awareness about tech, energy diversification, and globalism in Hawaii. We do 20 live stream talk shows every business day, and we do a weekly TV show on OC16. We pay the bills with donations from our supporters. Won't you help us by making a donation? All you need to do is go to our website, thinktechhawaii.com, and click there on the Donate button. We hope that you like what we do and that you will support us and help us continue to do it. Thanks so much for watching and for helping. I'm Jay Fidell of ThinkTech.
Aloha, I'm Maria Kashem of ThinkTech Hawaii, and I want to tell you about our ThinkTech talk shows. If you didn't know it, ThinkTech streams video and audio for all of its shows live on the internet from 2 to 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon, and we replay them all night long on ustream.tv. Visit thinktechhawaii.com for our live stream and YouTube links. Raise your awareness on ThinkTech. I'm Maria Kashem, and I'll see you there.
Aloha, my name is Dan Bauer and I'm the General Manager of the Plaza Club. The Plaza Club is Honolulu's premier business club. We're located in the heart of the financial district on historic Fort Street Mall. On the 20th and 21st floors atop the Pioneer Plaza are commanding skylight views along with our award-winning...
Thank you, Jack Waters. We're here, we're live, we're ThinkTech on ThinkTech Wednesday, Energy Wednesday, talking about Hawaii, the state of clean energy, and our sponsors are Hawaii Energy, which we'll hear from in a minute, DBED, Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, and Hawaiian Electric Company, making this possible here on KGU 760 AM, broadcasting from the lower level of Pioneer Plaza at the core of downtown Honolulu. Okay, on with Shayna Doi.
Hello.
Hi, welcome from you're coming from Hawaii Energy. Welcome to our show, and let's see what you got today that you guys figured out in the middle of the night in order to incentivize renewable energy in the state of, or energy efficiency in the state of Hawaii.
Well, you know, I'm the holiday person, so they send me whenever there's a holiday coming up, and our next holiday is Christmas. So I'm here with 3 energy saving tips to light up your Christmas season. It's tips on lighting for your home and how to be more energy efficient during the holidays. So our first tip is, you know, it's that time of year when we're putting up our trees and we're decorating our houses and we're putting up our Christmas lights, and we just wanted to give you a tip on how to be energy efficient with those. And the tip is that to put a timer on your Christmas lights instead of having to unplug them and replug them in every time. Or you can, it's one of those things where you can set it and forget it, and you can get them for outdoors or indoors. They're about 10 to 20 bucks, I think, at Walmart. So it's a really easy way to manage your energy usage for your decorations. Of course, if you could go the route where, you know, you don't use as many lights at all, you can decorate your tree with things with like tinsel or hand-painted ornaments. Actually, Hawaii Energy Office is having an ornament contest this week, so we could also make you an ornament if you're interested in that.
They can do anything.
Word gets out, doesn't it?
Yeah, so, you know, just be more creative. People use candy canes. Sometimes they put popcorn on their trees. So you don't have to have lights to decorate your tree and make it beautiful. That's tip number 2. Less lights, more decoration. Just use your creativity. And then lastly, all year round, if you haven't switched out your regular light bulbs in your house to a more energy efficient type of bulb, you still got those in old incandescent lights, now's a great time to switch to CFLs.
Give yourself a present.
Yeah, why don't you? Or gift it to somebody else. That's a good idea. CFLs reduce energy consumption by about 70 to 75% compared to the regular incandescent bulbs. That's a really huge savings. The average 60-watt incandescent bulb lasts about 750 hours, and the average 13-watt CFL bulb lasts 8,000 hours. So you got a really long life compared to the other bulbs. And Hawaii Energy offers a rebate on the CFLs if you buy them from City Mill or Lowe's or Home Depot. It's built into the cost of the bulb, so you'll just pay a cheaper price. It's 95 cents per CFL bulb, I believe, right now. And just the main thing you want to do is to make sure you get the right CFL bulb for the fixture that you're installing it in, so you can ensure that you're getting the most out of those energy savings. So 3 tips, all on lighting. Merry
Okay.
Christmas, everybody.
Would you be willing to allow cross-examination by the panel?
Sure.
Okay, cross-examination.
So outside of lighting, is there anything else that we might sort of take on? Because I think the replacement, and particularly the subsidies or the incentives for getting replacement lights, makes a lot of sense. Is there any other kind of thing that we can try to do?
For the holidays,
For the holidays,
specifically?
yeah.
You'll just have to see us
It-
next week. We'll be back. We'll also be putting up a holiday web page on a separate little side page on our website and posting on our social media with tips all through the month, so you can check there.
Okay, I got one for you.
Okay.
And what is the website?
HawaiiEnergy.com. Thank you for
All
asking.
right. You know, a lot of people in Hawaii and elsewhere celebrate Christmas through April. Have you noticed that? They leave the lights going, you know,
Oh,
until
yeah.
April, May, June. I mean, it's unbelievable. Some
true.
neighborhoods have more than others, but a lot of people leave their lights on. You know, if Christmas is over, it's probably a great idea to take the lights down again and not leave them playing till April.
That's a good point.
That is a good point, yes.
Okay, Shayna Doi, thank you very much for joining us from Hawaii Energy.
Thank you.
We always enjoy having you guys around. All right, let's get on to the substance. So a couple of loose ends we should discuss. Number one, comments on Peter Rosegg's remarks over the grandfather clause and life in the solar lane.
It's certainly a step in the right direction. I think between that and the proactive approach that came down through the Reliability Standards Working Group process, there are some very strong steps the utility's taking to get a handle on this very serious problem. But grid modernization, I think overall, is one of the greatest opportunities for business development within the state, and also to increase renewable penetration significantly. Automated metering infrastructure, which he talked a lot about, is just one step. You know, a first step has to do with standards, adopting things that were worked out through a technical review group that was part of that Reliability Standards Working Group. And the PUC has some things at their feet right now, and so we've been encouraging action on those matters, and I think that will make a huge impact. Ultimately, the biggest grid modernization aspect that we believe will have at the State Energy Office, and the governor believes that will have the biggest impact, is the interconnection of the islands, and particularly the grid tie between Oahu and Maui. And then ultimately, because of geothermal energy, ultimately making its way to Hawaii. We believe that will have the biggest impact on creating much greater grid reliability and stability.
You know, I had a conversation with our ThinkTech chief scientist yesterday, because I think every responsible tech organization needs to have a chief scientist. And he pointed out to me that, you know, the mantle of the Earth is hot. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a nuclear type of fission that keeps it going. It's, you know, the weight of the Earth pressing down on the core materials. It's going to be hot for a long time. And geothermal is going to be available for a long time, because we are lucky, Hawaii is lucky, that we're close to the hot. Right. You know, other places don't have that benefit.
It's true.
And we should really take advantage of that. And the only way we can take advantage of it is by A, you know, expanding geothermal, and B, expanding the delivery of geothermal around the islands. But one more point came up earlier, and that is the whole thing about the batteries. Because although interconnection would certainly ameliorate, you know, the disparities and the effective non-firm power, so would batteries. And Molokai is a great story. We had a discussion yesterday with George Benda, who is an energy consultant in Molokai, runs a company there that consults in energy, and he's really excited about the battery that's coming to Molokai this summer. And HNEI is involved in collecting data from that battery. And the exciting thing to me, I'm interested in your thoughts about this, is that when we learn how this battery ameliorates the spikes and the brownouts in Molokai, we can take those lessons and put them in Oahu too. This is all an educational process, and you guys are right in the middle of it, John.
I agree. I mean, we've been working with several battery setups. One is with the Hawi wind farm on the Big Island, and even though it's a rather small megawatt battery, it has a great effect on keeping the frequency at where it should be. When it was first installed, the operators of the system didn't think it would do a whole lot, but after it's been in there for a while, they're really impressed with how it can help stabilize the grid. And we've been running it consistently, I think like 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off, 10 minutes on, so we have those sets of data to compare what it is with and without, and it's been pretty impressive. There hasn't been a lot done directly with solar in the same way that with wind, but I know the Molokai project is going on, and KIUC, the co-op on Kauai, has also worked with batteries a lot and are getting a lot of good experience and data through that.
Yeah, my reading of the story, it was in the Molokai Dispatch. It sounds like a huge newspaper. There are 7,000 people living in Molokai, and that's twice as many as live on Lanai. Interesting. But they're talking about how this battery that's coming in, I think the name of the company is Altair, I can't remember the exact name. It's a battery company we hadn't heard that much about, but they have fire-resistant technology, so that what happened in the extreme batteries a couple of years ago is probably not going to happen again. So we step forward on this. We get better technology. And this could be a great experience for renewables to have this work and to learn from it. And and what I love about this is that nobody is opposing it.
It's being done at the community level. There's wide consensus. They've reached out. It's been we've appreciated at the State Energy Office being invited to come into the planning meetings in Molokai, and we'll continue to do that. I think battery storage, pump storage, as technologies to help improve frequency disruptions, certainly at the substation level, the distribution level, the overall system level is really important, but there are also some very exciting technologies that bring the cost down at the consumer level, so it can actually happen at the home. And all of those things are on the horizon. Cost is still an issue, but there's definitely a lot of progress, a lot of reason for optimism that can be a midterm solution in the next several years.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ears. That's Mark Glick, State Energy Administrator. Anyway, okay, I think we're going to take another break now. And when we come back, the name of this show is actually Standing on the Barrel, Tax. Comma is just... just for stress. But
it's a John Wayne pause.
Exactly. Okay. It's one of those necessary pauses. But after we take this break, we'll come back and we'll talk about the chief subject of our discussion today, the barrel tax, because the barrel tax is coming up in the legislature this season. What's going to happen? What should happen? What will happen? Okay, this is ThinkTech Hawaii, Energy Wednesday. Hawaii, the state of clean energy. We'll be right back after this break.
Aloha, I'm Attila Seres of ThinkTech. ThinkTech is a 501c3 Hawaii nonprofit corporation. We began ThinkTech in the year 2000. At ThinkTech, we work to raise public awareness about tech, energy, diversification, and globalism in Hawaii. We do 20 live stream talk shows every business day, and we do a weekly TV show on OC16. We pay the bills with donations from our supporters. Won't you help us by making a donation? All you need to do is go to our website, thinktechhawaii.com, and click on the donate button. We hope that you like what we do and that you will support us and help us continue to do it. Thanks so much for watching and for helping. I'm Attila Seres of ThinkTech.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidell. This is ThinkTech Hawaii. broadcasting live from the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu. We raise public awareness about tech, energy, and globalism in Hawaii. Technology is critical to our state. A vibrant tech sector will give us new prospects in the global marketplace and will offer great careers and make our economy more resilient. Streaming live on Ustream and Spreaker, ThinkTech allows its hosts and guests invaluable opportunities to report important events and discuss important questions, and to be heard here in Hawaii and around the world. You can find links to our live streams on thinktechhawaii.com or on our mobile website, m.thinktechhawaii.com. And you can see our archive on YouTube. It's all just a click away. We want to do whatever we can to keep Hawaii relevant, connected, and thriving in the complexity of the 21st century. We hope you will help us in those efforts. Tune in today. This is ThinkTech. I'm Jay Fidell.
Aloha, my name is Dan Bauer and I'm the General Manager of the Plaza Club. The Plaza Club is Honolulu's premier business club. We're located in the heart of the financial district on historic Fort Street Mall. On the 20th and 21st floors atop the Pioneer Plaza, our commanding skyline views, along with our award-winning cuisine and service, are known as the place to do business downtown. We offer professional as well as social events and programs to our members and their guests, all tailored to enrich their professional and personal lives and to give them the cutting edge that they deserve in business. Why don't you consider becoming a member of the club? Call me at 531-7788 or come see me and let's talk business and how the Plaza Club can work for you. Again, my name is Dan Bauer. I'm the General Manager of the club and I'm here for you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack Waters. We're back. We're live. We're at ThinkTech here on Energy Wednesday, being energetic today. Okay? Hawaii, the state of clean energy. We're not fooling around. We're moving. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's the most important thing. We might as well do it then. Yeah? And in the studio we have Mark Glick, Hawaii State Energy Administrator, Veronica Roche, who is branch chief for what? Renewable energy.
Correct.
You got that?
At the Hawaiian
Okay.
Energy Office.
At DBED,
Yes.
right near, around Mark.
I report to Mark. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Right around the corner.
And John Cole, former PUC commissioner, now with HNEI, Hawaii Natural Energy Institute, and we are going to talk about the barrel tax. This is the standing on the barrel tax, tax. Wait, standing on the barrel, tax. So, John, can you give us the history of the barrel tax? What happened?
I'll try to give you a brief one. Before 2010, it just existed as a nickel tax on every barrel of petroleum product imported into the state. In 2010, the legislature passed a law which increased that to $1.05 per barrel and allocated that money. The 5 cents initially collected goes to the Department of Health for their energy response revolving fund to help clean up if there's oil spills or anything like that. And when they added the additional dollar on, they gave 15 cents of each of those dollars to the State Energy Office and the Energy Security Special Fund. A dime of that went to HNEI's special fund, which is called Energy Systems Development Special Fund. And another 15 cents to the Department of Agriculture, to the Agricultural Development and Food Security Special Fund. And there is some money missing there. It didn't add up. So 60% of the collected tax on every barrel of petroleum product imported has gone to the state general fund.
Including the dog catcher, I suppose, yeah.
Or wherever
Who
they
knows
send
where it goes? It gets absorbed before you can hardly breathe. It's gone. Okay, so Sharon, you were interested in this topic. Sharon Moriwaki, my co-host here on Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, every Wednesday. Sharon, what would you like to hear discussed? There's a problem. Why don't you articulate the problem, and these guys can answer it for you. It'd be great.
I think we've always been working with and
Is that
against.
microphone on?
I think so. Is it on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
We've always been working with and against the legislators who want to get the 60 cents that John is talking about and pay for other problems like the schools or health or whatever. And yet the money is collected from the fuel tax. So I think that it behooves us to hear what the money has been used for. I think since 2000, and is it 11 or 12, funds have gone to, as you heard, HNEI and DBED for the Energy Office as well as to agriculture. And I think it really is important to show the community that we have been using that fund for our very good purposes, and it is related to reducing the cost of energy in the long run. So I think maybe that kind of conversation of what it's been used for and whether we need an increase and get a little bit more of the 60 cents, and if so, what could it be used for? So.
Yeah, the barrel tax was supposed to incentivize clean energy, but it has been an imperfect execution of that idea, and some of the money has slipped off into a dissolve somewhere. This is important, isn't it, Mark?
Well, it is. I believe that the legislature was very well thinking when they proposed Act 73, this food and energy security tax. And the notion for us at the State Energy Office was it gave us a dedicated pool of funds to target high impact solutions to try to get us to our 2030 targets, which are the Renewable Portfolio Standard, the Energy Efficiency Portfolio Standard, transportation goals, and our economic development goals of creating jobs and construction revenue from the installation of this. Basically, energy transformation of Hawaii. So everyone knows there needed to be a seeded investment to sort of establish the policies, oversee the key efforts and regulations that work very closely with the Public Utilities Commission, and to assist in the deployment of the infrastructure. And that requires significant amount of analysis. You have to basically look at the resource assessments for our wide diversity of renewable energy, understand completely how much can be introduced at what cost, and develop essentially an implementation plan of how you reach those goals. We've done that, and we've also worked very closely. And we can go over some of the specific measures, but we've also made it so that the network of developers and other stakeholders in this energy market have the tools and are not impeded by overregulation or by any other barriers to get this job done.
Yeah, we have to do it. We have to do the high impact things. What about it, Veronica?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit to what Mark was saying, and also to echo that really we have been quite successful in the last several years. If you look at back in 2008, we had maybe 9% renewable energy. Now we're up to 13.7 renewable energy, and it's expected that we are going to be surpassing our 15% target for RPS, which is a renewable portfolio standard, probably even before 2015.
We should always surpass our expectations.
Absolutely.
We should always be excellent and aggressive about this.
Well, I can say that by the end of this year, when the Public Utilities Commission gets the reports from the utilities, I believe at that time we'll see that we've exceeded our 15% goal at 2015. That's no small accomplishment, and it took actions to get there.
Okay, but we can't rest.
We can't. We must go well beyond that. And in fact, the governor stated at the Asia Pacific Clean Energy Summit and Expo this year that we are dedicated to go beyond 8 CEI goals, the 40% goal. And we now have the tools, and I believe with this, again, continued support to work this through at least 2030 when the targets are to be met, the actual funding to help shepherd this program along.
Yeah, what's interesting is in 2008, when these goals popped up, somebody made them up.
That's right.
We didn't have any experience. We had no idea how fast we could move. They made up those numbers, and surprise of surprises,
you can meet them.
We can meet them. We learned that.
That's right.
And now we should go even faster. We should adjust our sights to move even faster. So you were talking about
some of the specific
high impact things.
High impact solutions that our office has done. So at the Renewable Energy branch for the State Energy Office, some of the things that we have done have been, one, how do we remove barriers to renewable energy permitting? We've not only provided information online on things such as incentives and tax credits and that sort of thing, but also provided developers with tools on what are the permitting requirements that you need if you want to do a successful project in Hawaii. We have a renewable energy IS system, which is basically an interactive map of every single islands of Hawaii and all the various types of renewable energy resources.
This exists today?
Absolutely. So if you want to know, for example, you can go to your particular TMK for your house, and it'll tell you what the resource availability for solar and for wind is for your particular TMK.
It'll tell me whether I'm on a good circuit or maybe a crowded circuit.
You know, it doesn't have circuit information. I know that HECO does have circuit information in their website, but that's not information that is on our particular GIS website. So that's been another tool that we've implemented. We have also published various guidelines pertaining to permitting, and that's just one of the services that we offer. We also have been working very closely, as Mark alluded to earlier, working with the utilities, for example, and of course we see interconnection as something that is very, very important to the islands of Hawaii and our future with regards to energy. So not only have we provided comments and feedback to the PUC on the interconnection between Maui and Oahu, but we have also partnered with HECO in implementing the proactive approach. Now, what the proactive approach is going to be doing is ahead of time looking at the circuits, looking at what the penetration is, looking at what interconnection reliability studies may need to be done so that when a project is introduced, the project already knows exactly what it's getting itself into. So these are all tools that we are implementing that we believe are high impact in order to accommodate additional renewable energy into our grid.
And that's why we need to do more on the barrel tax.
Absolutely.
That's right. And in essence, the work that Peter talked about earlier and the progress has really been under the spirit of the proactive approach. So these measures are not academic. I mean, they're real world. You know, I just got back from Korea giving a talk about smart grid and what our plans are. And of course, Korea's got one of the most robust programs in the world. But the fact of the matter is, on a country level, they're at 3% renewable energy portfolio. 3%. Jeju Island, which is one of the most innovative places on earth, they just spent $240 million to develop what they consider to be one of the greatest smart grid demonstrations in the world. There's 7% renewable penetration there. We've just, I believe, will announce sometime that we've exceeded 15%, and we're moving forward even more rapidly.
Short digression, the Koreans would really like to come and participate in the smart grid here. They are interested in doing what Hitachi is doing in Maui. Did you talk about that on the trip?
Yes, I mean, those are the investments we are attempting to seek, basically as what we consider to be the world's leading test bed overall for clean energy in the world. And so we see obviously Hitachi and Neto, the new energy development organization that's part of MIDI in Japan, and of course Korea through their Ministry of Trade, Economic Development. They just changed the name of that that division and energy, and that unit is now engaged in discussions with the Energy Office and DBED about forging ahead on this additional work. And you know, these kinds of agreements take time, but we're encouraged that at some point we might make some progress on that.
I don't know how you sleep at night, actually.
Yeah, I think
Ask
we
us
really
for-
don't actually sleep that much. That's the problem.
We're excited. You know, I'll tell you what, when you realize that you are doing something that is not only leading the state, but it's leading the nation and is having an international impact. I know John feels this way, certainly the other stakeholders in the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative. We all know that we're doing something special right now, and it's just very exciting to be
Yeah,
part
we
of
can't
it.
stop for a minute.
Yeah.
So let's look at HNEI for a minute. You guys are very interested in the barrel tax because you had a piece of it and you want to continue to have a piece of it. And I think it's going to take some legislation to continue your piece of it.
That's right. Just as a quick aside, the special fund that our piece of the barrel tax went into sunsetted last year. We tried to get it extended to coincide with the tax itself, which sunsets in a few more years.
Tell everybody why HNEI is important.
We do a ton of work and research in the energy area in Hawaii. With the barrel tax and with a lot of other money that comes from various federal agencies, the Department of Energy, the Office of Naval Research.
You brought in 1.8 million for the Molokai battery
Oh, yeah.
from ONR. Yeah.
Yep, we partner with a lot of folks, agents, government agencies, and private companies, and bring in a lot of money to Hawaii. We also do work in other areas of the world, partnering with other folks so we can learn as much as we can from a bunch of different places. But a part of what we liked about being able to use some of the barrel tax was that it enabled us to leverage more money into Hawaii, particularly some of the federal contracts were kind of a match type thing, where if we put some up, they'll put up actually a lot more.
That's frequently the case, isn't it? The
helped
match
bring
arrangement.
in,
Yeah.
right, helped bring in a lot of money. And it also afforded us a little more flexibility with those types of projects, with some state money in the pot. A lot of times, straight federal money without that state match is a little more specific and directed, and you don't have the flexibility to maybe focus on Hawaii issues as much as you would like.
HNEI is very important because it's a sort of the nexus between the science and the politics. You guys stand with one foot in each camp, and you can bring them together. You
John
know?
should tell us what kinds of things are not going to happen unless we get these funds this coming year.
Okay, John, yours.
Well, I mean,
Whoops. I hear a voice. I hear the voice of a break. Hold that thought.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Nicole about what's not going to happen if the barrel tax doesn't get straightened out. This is ThinkTech Hawaii on Wednesday, Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy on Wednesday. We're here with Mark Glick, Veronica Roche, and John Cole, and Sharon Moriwaki, my co-host. We'll be right back after this break.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Hori for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Hori. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidell. This is ThinkTech Hawaii, broadcasting live from the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu. We raise public awareness about tech, energy, and globalism in Hawaii. Technology is critical to our state. A vibrant tech sector will give us new prospects in the global marketplace and will offer great careers and make our economy more resilient. Streaming live on Ustream and Spreaker, ThinkTech allows its hosts and guests invaluable opportunities to report important events and discuss important questions, and to be heard here in Hawaii and around the world. You can find links to our live streams on thinktechhawaii.com or on our mobile website, m.thinktechhawaii.com. And you can see our archive on YouTube. It's all just a click away. We want to do whatever we can to keep Hawaii relevant, connected, and thriving in the complexity of the 21st century. We hope you will help us in those efforts. Tune in today. This is ThinkTech. I'm Jay Fidell.
Aloha, I'm Maria Kashem of ThinkTech Hawaii, and I want to tell you about our ThinkTech talk shows. If you didn't know it, ThinkTech streams video and audio for all of its shows live on the internet from 2 to 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon, and we replay them all night long on ustream.tv. Visit thinktechhawaii.com for our live stream and YouTube links. Raise your awareness on ThinkTech. I'm Maria Kashem, and I'll see you there.
Aloha, my name is Dan Bauer and I'm the General Manager of the Plaza Club. The Plaza Club is Honolulu's premier business club. We're located in the heart of the financial district on historic Fort Street Mall. On the 20th and 21st floors atop the Pioneer Plaza, our commanding skylight views, along with our award-winning cuisine and service, are known as the place to do business downtown. We offer professional as well as social events and programs to our members and their guests, all tailored to enrich their professional and personal lives and to give them the cutting edge that they deserve in business. Why don't you consider becoming a member of the club? Call me at 531-7788 or come see me and let's talk business and how the Plaza Club can work for you. Again, my name is Dan Bauer. I'm the General Manager of the club and I'm here for...
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidell for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaiian Foreign Trade Zone, number 9, has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBED, the Hawaii Department of Business, Economic Development. Welcome back. Welcome back to Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is underwritten by Hawaii Energy, DBED, and Hawaiian Electric Company. And at the suggestion of Sharon Moriwaki, my co-host, John Cole is now going to discuss what happens if the money from the barrel tax is not resumed, I should say is a better word, for HNEI, Hawaii Natural Energy Institute, which does so much in bringing the pieces together in our energy program.
Okay, Jay, like I said, we do have other sources of funding, so the barrel tax isn't our only source of funding, but the two biggest things would be, I mentioned earlier, would be we'd be unable to leverage even more money to come into the state to help research some of these technologies and integration issues. But also it might end up in less flexibility with some of those things we do get. Like I said, with some of the federal grants or contracts, they can be a lot more prescribed without that state match or putting into the pot as well.
Okay, well, suppose Senator Gabbard is right out there. He may be right out there. Or Representative Lee, right out there, the energy chairs. What are you saying to them this session? Just talk to them.
For HNEI to perform as well as it can, the barrel tax, it definitely helps. Without it, we can still function, but not at the level we'd like to, and that would help move Hawaii forward as much as we'd like.
Okay. Mark, what would you say?
Well, I think, and I would add to the persons that we're talking to, the chairs of finance and WAM as well, because I think that's where some of these things had sort of stopped last session. The key thing is that first of all, HNEI has been a vital partner to us, provided money for key initiatives like programmatic EIS, which we believe it was a game changer in perceptions about how we go about implementing our clean energy initiative, but also answering a lot of technical pieces of the puzzle, particularly the things they've been at the ground floor of the smart grid initiatives, the Great Maui effort, as well as Smart Jump Maui as it's evolved into the Hitachi project that you talked about. And we need that technical resource if we want ground up local businesses to thrive, and we want to have to be able to retain some of that investment here in Hawaii. We really need research organizations and companies that our international partners can go to and pay to get some of these answers. So that's a critical element of it, and that's the reason why HNEI needs to remain at the table. But I have to say that even the State Energy Office and the Department of Agriculture on the food side, our funds go away in 2015 if the sunset isn't extended. We're not exactly, I can't go back in history and know why you wouldn't match it with the mandates, but when Act 73 was passed in 2010, it sunsetted in 2015. We will be seeking to match the sunset at 2030 to match the targets that we've been asked by statute to help fulfill.
That seems only logical.
Yeah, we think so, and I believe we're very hopeful that the legislature will agree. We'll see this record accomplishment, knowing that essentially clean energy is one of the new pillars of economic development, of economic transformation. The energy transformation is leading to a real drive of a new economic sector in the state.
We can never forget that.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, we can pour $7 billion into this economy, and every man, woman, and child in the state will benefit for their lives.
In 2012, 28.5% of all construction expenditures in the state were attributed to solar development. So that's just one segment of the clean energy transformation. So you can imagine, you can see it. I mean, almost a third of all construction expenditures in the state. It's really a massive transformation, and I think all of the players, all the stakeholders, and certainly the state has a vital role to play in that, and we hope the legislature will continue to fund and support that.
Well, Veronica, how much of what Mark says do you agree with?
All of it. All of it.
More than all of it.
I absolutely believe in our mission and what we're here to do. I completely echo his words on the value of HNEI. I would simply add that another tremendous aspect that HNEI brings to the table is that they are a local organization that understands the local political, climate, cultural context. And that, coupled with the technical expertise that they bring to Hawaii to help inform energy policy and decisions, is completely invaluable. We absolutely want to continue collaborating with them, and want to make sure that they also are able to have the funding that they need to move forward.
Wow, wished I'd said that.
Is that right? That's our branch.
Well, what's going to happen? You guys, ready? Is a bill going to be introduced on this? Has it been written already?
Well,
there's draft bills out there. For HNEI, we would have to reintroduce a bill to recreate the special fund if that's the route that's chosen to go. And that's simple enough to do. The language from the statute is there. And we drafted legislation on the barrel tax last session, and that's also can be adapted simply. So everything can be ready to go, sure.
As I recall, Sharon Moriwaki, there was a table, a committee, a group set aside in the last general membership meeting of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum on this very issue.
That's correct.
What is the status of that? What position do you think HEPF will take in the session now coming?
This is what John is talking about. We have a draft that John has worked on, and we are vetting it soon before the general membership, and we hope to support it to reinstate really the sunset from for HNEI. And I don't know. I think DBID, you're okay because the sunset, or is that are you also putting in legislation to extend that sunset date?
yeah, our primary push this session is to keep it really simple. We don't want to be in the position that HNEI found itself in last year, even though in 2014 during the next session. We certainly don't want it to fall to the last minute to correct that imbalance. We want to make sure that the sunset is corrected. We do have money in the existing biennium budget, and we've asked for enough money that's already been collected that's sitting in the Energy Security Special Fund. So we're not asking for a reformulation of the percentages or how many cents that we get out of that $1.05. We get 15 cents currently. So we're not asking in this supplemental budget year, it's the second year of a biennium budget, we're simply asking for the sunset to be corrected so it now matches the time frame that we're supposed to implement all of this. It would maintain the 15 cent amount for us, also for the Department of Agriculture. And so that's where we are in this upcoming session. There may be other proposals, and certainly we would support the HNEI.
Mark, do you have a bill already sitting there, or is this a new bill that has to be introduced to extend the sunset to 2030 or some date outside of 2015?
It would be a new effort. It is fundamentally different than the approach that we had attempted last session. It really had a lot of support, but it just never made it past the Finance Committee.
People have to understand that this is the core money that the programs, the state programs, and the HNEI programs, are getting from the state. This is it. The tax incentives that go to help owners of residences who want to install PV is another issue.
That's another issue.
But when you're talking about the state operating its programs, this is the money. This is it. This is what pays, your staff, Mark. This is what makes the state, take these initiatives home. And it's really important that we look at that and treat that as a special item. It is a measure of how ardent we are about this initiative. And we've got to, I mean, I would only leave you, we gotta go now, but I think there would be more money. Raise the thing. Okay, this is Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. We've been talking with Mark Glick, State Energy Administrator, Veronica Roche, the branch chief of the Energy Division, and John Cole, former PUC and HNEI right now. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
Next time soon.
All right.
Awesome.